Jordan Davis got paid, like straight up paid. So who gets paid next by the Philadelphia Eagles or traded? Plus Sixers, Tyrese Maxey, Phillies, World Baseball Classic. It is a jam-packed Overreaction Monday here on Trending in the AM. We are live, taking your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome all to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, whichever platform you're watching on, whether you're watching live right now or replay later today, please, it is free to do. Support this content and support all local content creators by clicking the buttons on your screen wherever they are. The like button, the share button, the subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, please head on over to the YouTube page and subscribe over there. That is where you can vote on our YouTube poll question of the day. What do we make of the Jordan Davis contract extension? Option A, awesome, well-deserved, spot on. Option B, decent, slight overpay. Option C, awful, massive overpay. Guys, please do that. Greatly appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share. We're going to get to all the comments in just a very minute. I'm Phil Stiefel. We do this every single morning for anybody new to the show. So please, greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Breaking news over the weekend. Jordan Davis signs a 3-year, $78 million contract extension. The 26-year-old 13th pick in the 2022 draft gets paid, got his 5th-year option picked up last offseason instead of an extension. Played great, got in shape, did what he had to do. Grew as a leader, became a dominant force like he was supposed to be, and he gets rewarded by Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles. And quite frankly, I'm ecstatic about it. For those that don't know, I am a huge Jordan Davis fan, have been since day one. And I think it was great that they got this deal done. It was a little bit more money than I expected that he was going to get, but it is the first of many shoes to drop this offseason. It's the first big key thing that has to happen. So we're going to talk about that throughout the day at length. And we might be more than 90 minutes today because we've got so many topics to cover today. We've got to talk about this Davis extension a bunch. We got to talk about the new Jalen Carter trade rumors, the old A.J. Brown trade rumors, Jaelan Phillips. There are reports from Ian Rappaport literally 10 minutes ago that there's still a chance that Jaelan Phillips may get the extension before the 12 o'clock tampering period begins and free agency begins. So that news might even break during this show. Tyrese Maxey hurt. The Sixers season spiraling out of control. If anybody cares to talk about that, that is on the table. Phillies, Andrew Painter looks great in spring training for the Phillies. World Baseball Classic, Kyle Schwarber looks like he is ready for MVP year again this year. So there's so much on the table. Flyers trade deadline was Friday. A couple moves were made. I don't really know a whole lot about them, but that is on the table as well. So we're going to just fire right off into the comments of the day. Duck, what's up, my man? I think we paid him a little bit more than he's shown, but I think that's to keep him motivated and to know homegrown talent is appreciated. I thought it was a slight overpay. Someone did remind me. So 3 years, $78 million comes out to $26 million per year for Jordan Davis. But when you add in his 5th-year option that he's going to be playing on this year, it's like $12.9 million. His annual salary over the next 4 years, if you average it out, is only just over 22. So in that theory, maybe it makes a little bit more sense. It is a lot of money. It will make retaining Jalen Carter a little bit more difficult. It definitely means you can't retain him, Moro Ojomo, and Jalen Carter. You know, you see, what's his name, got paid massively at cornerback last night. Okay, breaking news there. You got Quinion Mitchell that's going to get almost $40 million a year when his time is up to get that extension. So the Jordan Davis contract does put a wrinkle in some of the Eagles' plans going forward. But for the most part, I think he earned that deal. Good morning, Robert. How you doing? Good morning, Adam. Monday, great weather this week. Absolutely. Absolutely. What is up, little G? Good morning. Here we go. Davis lack of pressure and not a game changer. Game changer. Okay. Number one in the NFL in tackles on run plays for all defensive tackles last year, 63. Number one amongst all defensive tackles in batted balls. Fourth among all defensive tackles in tackles for losses. Had a career high in quarterback pressures, career high in sacks. Okay? He is now the highest paid defensive nose tackle in all of football history. He is tied for the second highest paid defensive tackle in football currently, behind Chris Jones. Sixers were already done, but Maxey out now and Embiid not. Yeah, look, the Sixers are, I don't even know what to say, Adam, about the Sixers anymore. They are just, I care to watch a Flyers game more than I care to watch a Sixers game at this point. And you know how much fun I have watching Flyers games. No more Crosby controversy. WIP and the toxic sports media have already moved on to Carter trades. Yeah, look, I actually believed that Max Crosby was slightly in play for the Eagles. I really do. Now, he went, Friday morning after the show, lunchtime, 2 first-round picks to the Ravens. The real big issue for the Max Crosby thing is that it takes the Ravens out on the A.J. Brown trade rumors. So it's one less team that could trade for A.J. Brown. Jay Dizzle, what? That one's over the head. It's too early. My sources say Eagles will sign Phillips. Well, I mean, it's not hard to say that. I mean, there's a good chance. I think they're trying to keep him under $22 million per year. They're trying to get a 4-year, $84 million deal, 3-year, $63 million deal. They're trying to get something like that done with him to keep some flexibility when all these extensions that the Eagles have to give out start kicking in for Davis, for Carter, for Quinion. So, yeah. Battaglia with the win at the – I forgot to put that in the conversation for today. Battaglia with the win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. All I'll say about that, Akshay played great, K1, but Daniel Berger is a gutless loser with some of the shots he played. It was on 13 out of the bunker, gutless shot. On 18 the first time, gutless shot. He lost. He didn't win. Battaglia didn't win. Berger gave him the win, just so you know. They even came up with an offer for A.J. Brown, first, third. They didn't say it was the season or next. So, yeah, look, I get it. Most likely Carter and A.J. Brown are not getting traded. But to not think that Howie Roseman's fielding calls, if Howie Roseman gets a call from any team on any player, Jalen Hurts included, Duck, he's going to say, okay, so what do you offer him? And when they offer him nothing or not a massive haul, he laughs and hangs up. And that's fine. And I'm okay with that. You're going to receive calls every offseason. It's just, it is what it is. You just got to understand, unless you're going to massively overpay for an elite player, you're not going to get them. Howie Roseman says we like having elite players. Howie Roseman does understand that this is a business, though. Eagles taking the Super Bowl roster and replacing them with weaker talent. We haven't replaced anybody yet. We've retained. We haven't replaced. So how are we getting weaker? He had 4.5 sacks, which was pretty decent for a defensive tackle that played like 55, 60% of the snaps. So sacks are such, and the sack conversation, Jordan Davis doesn't get enough sacks. It's the same problem with the people that don't want to pay Jaelan Phillips because he only had 2 sacks in his time with the Eagles. Sometimes on the defensive line, statistics don't matter. When you command double teams, when you impact a defense in non-statistical ways, you could still be elite. Quinion Mitchell is one of the best cornerbacks in football. Has he even had a regular season interception yet? He's going to get $40 million a year in 2 years when he gets his extension. Probably the best cover corner in football right now. But he doesn't get the interceptions, so he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Jordan Davis doesn't need to get sacks. He needs to eat up tackles and guards in the middle of the defense so that the other guys can feast. Jaelan Phillips gets pressure on the quarterback so Jalen Hunt can eat and get the sack number. So much more to it than just the sack number. Good morning, Robert. Hope you're having a beautiful Monday morning. Ojomo's talented, but he hasn't proven that he's more than a rotational defense tackle. I disagree on that. I think more Ojomo has proven he's pretty damn elite. He did a really darn good job. Look, let's be honest. Our run defense, period, whether it was Ojomo, Davis, Carter, wasn't great last year up the middle. I don't think Moro Ojomo is a guy that's going to get at this point. Like, honestly, if you could find a way, you extend him now because you could probably get him extended for $10 or $12 million a year. Maybe even a little less than that. But somebody will see the raw talent he's got there next offseason and give him $20, $22 million. I would be utterly shocked if they didn't. What's up, guys? How we doing? We got a jam-packed morning today. So the Patriots put in an offer but got rejected. That's the rumor. I mean, I don't think it's unrealistic thought that the Patriots do want A.J. Brown on their roster. And Howie Roseman's listening. But Howie Roseman from the Patriots want him bad. So the Eagles are saying, all right, you want him. We got him. I want a first and a second round pick for him. Otherwise, don't call me back. Or a first, a third, and a player. Of course. What an overpay. I don't think, when you look at the way I explained it to Duck a few minutes ago, it's 3 years for 78, yes. But it's 4 years and I forget what the number comes out to, 90. It's really only $22 million over the next 4 years because he's going to be playing this year on his fourth or fifth year option. Yeah, I knew what you meant on that. Akshay gives hope to bespectacled lefties everywhere. My wife loves Akshay because he looks like he's 46, but he's 24. He's got more ribs showing through his skin than anything else. The dude is the skinniest mofo in the world. He's entertaining as can be. He's a great human being. His wife's not too shabby looking either. And you know, at the turnaround, late last year, he picked up a new caddy. Turned out to be Max Homa's old caddy when Max Homa was winning. Now, Akshay Bhatia is winning with him. Akshay Bhatia winning the Masters. Raiders got the Mike Parsons package for Crosby. That's a bit much. Yeah, being that Max Crosby is going to be 29. Max Crosby was, 26 at the time of the trade? But look, Max Crosby, I think people are a little quick to judge that he's not what people, not good anymore. I think Max Crosby's still damn good at this point of his career. Sixers really getting tested now. Damn shame we don't have a head coach that's a talent maximizer. Sixers getting tested now. It's a damn shame we don't have a young guard with promise on our bench that could start with all these injuries. It's a damn shame. Damn shame. Listen, they play tonight. Who do they play tonight? I forget, but you're going to see a lot of Kyle Lowry minutes tonight again. Yay. Jay Dizzle is the cool kids in the 90s called someone with that nickname JD. Okay. Gotcha. I was never part of the cool crowd. Sacks is the only thing then there is Cope. No, it's so stupid. I saw the Jets as a landing spot for Carson Wentz. Yes, that does not take the Jets out of the running for making a trade for Tanner McKee. Just let me put, someone told me that on Twitter. I'm like, no. Carson Wentz is looking to go to the Jets to help be a transition for whoever they draft or to be a backup to someone like, Tanner McKee or whatever other quarterback they get. It's a smart move for the Jets to get Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a backup quarterback now. He knows Frank Reich's system. So I think it's a great spot. And, Carson Wentz did his best work in his career under Frank Reich. AJ is going. He has made it clear that he wants out. He has actually not made it clear that he wants out, just so you know. If he's not moved, they will eat up the locker room. He has not made it clear he wants out. So, whatever. That's stupid. It's stupid to think that sacks are the most important statistic for a defensive tackle. It really is. Jordan Davis was the best run stopper in the league last year. Played 60% of snaps and was a difference maker. Absolutely agree. Jordan Davis earned that contract. He lost the weight. He kept it off. He stayed healthy. He played more snaps than he ever had. Okay? He is going to be wearing the captain's patch on his jersey this year. I guarantee it. He is one of the locker room leaders as well on this team. Number one amongst all defensive tackles in tackles on designed run plays last year. Most batted balls for defensive tackles. Ninth most tackles for losses, or fourth most tackle for losses with 9. from defensive tackles. Yeah, Quinion Mitchell has a lot of almost interceptions. But that's also, K1, why Quinion Mitchell doesn't get the respect he deserves in the league. That's why he wasn't an all-pro. Because he doesn't get the interceptions, right? Doesn't mean he's not a great cornerback. The guy can't get interceptions because he's so damn good. Quarterbacks can't throw his way. Except for in that playoff game. What's up, Jimbo? Happy Legal Tampering Day. You know what's the best part of Legal Tampering Day? Well, I shouldn't say the best part of NFL League Tampering Day, but the most funny, intriguing, it's bit us in the ass, it's bit a lot of teams in the ass over the years. Legal tampering gives you the chance to sign a player now before Wednesday at 4 p.m. And tampering begins at noon today. But it also gives the players a chance to back out of the contracts after 2 days or before 2 days are up. So yeah, this is where you get the Frank Gore situations happening. Yeah, I'll sign a contract with you. You know what? I slept on it. I changed my mind. It makes it really fun. You know what I mean? Weird, fun, annoying. Davis learned how to not get stood up as much. Some of his techniques, some of his core strengths, some of his being on the same page as Carter, Smith, and Hunt. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Davis put in the work. And you know, it's funny. He put in the work going into 2024. He just didn't maintain the work ethic throughout 2024. 2025 came, he put in the work and stayed. He maintained throughout the entire season, which is the big key there for Jordan Davis. He maintained his health, his physicality, his ability. He stayed healthy. I mean, I didn't think he was going to play 60% of the snaps last year. I don't think anybody thought that. I made an Akshay Bhatia bet at 70 to 1 to win the Masters like 6 weeks ago. So yeah, I don't think he's 70 to 1 anymore probably after yesterday. Max is one of the 3 or 4 edges it would that are game changers. I agree. We don't agree on the other things, but we agree on that. No, he didn't. You don't hear it. He did. So it was Friday afternoon sometime. The deal broke. He went to the Ravens, 2 first-round picks this year and next year, which takes the Ravens out of the conversation on A.J. Brown. Q is a lockdown corner that has kept QBR for who's covered. Yeah, he will get his money, but $75 million a year for Q, and Coop is going to make budgets tight. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you got to think about it. What was the contract last night that broke or this morning? Where is it? I bookmarked it. Yeah, Trent McDuffie got $124 million over 4 years. Trent McDuffie got $124 million over 4 years. Just think about that. Every year those numbers go up. You're looking at $130, $140 million contract for Q. You're probably looking at Trent McDuffie money for Coop. Things are going to get difficult. That is why I can't completely ignore the Jalen Carter trade talk. Can you keep Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Quinion Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean all on your defense? Can you afford all 4 of those? I'm not letting Q or Coop go. You chose Jordan. You gave Jordan Davis a contract. It means you got to at least contemplate Jalen Carter. You got to. Now, my option or my idea with Jalen Carter would be you pick up his 5th-year option. You take the Jordan Davis route with Jalen Carter, okay? You pick up his 5th-year option. You let him prove that he's still elite next year. He helps you win another Super Bowl next year. And then next offseason, when you do the negotiations, that's when you trade him when he's at his peak. He wasn't at his peak in 2025. Not saying you wouldn't get a great deal, but you might be able to get a little bit more if you pick up his 5th-year option and then trade him next offseason. I'm just saying, I don't want to trade Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is an elite player, a player that could be generational. Not yet, hasn't proven it yet. Okay? But you can't pay everybody. That's what happens with a salary cap. So saying he wants out all year, you find me the quote of him saying, I want out, because there's no such thing, okay? It's a lot of speculation on your part. Trent McDuffie, yeah. Q has more interceptions in the playoffs than he's had during the season. It's like 5 interceptions in the 4 games. Yeah, exactly. Bills are worse in the league at overpaying mid. It's okay. So you're just jealous is what you're saying. Let's see how many people get defensive about Jalen Hurts today. Jalen Hurts doesn't even have to be part of the conversation today, Mitchie Poo. Why does Jalen Hurts have to be part of the conversation? Why on a day when we're talking Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Quenya Mitchell, why does Jalen Hurts got to be part of the conversation? Why do we got to take a day when we're talking serious things and got to make it about trying to find a way to upset people about Jalen Hurts? Whatever. Does Nolan Smith say? Nolan Smith, I don't think you can. You'll probably pick up his fifth-year option too, Adam. But you can't extend Nolan Smith right now. You can't. He had another unimpressive year last year. He didn't stay healthy. He didn't make a big impact. His pressure rate wasn't bad. But Nolan Smith, I don't know how you keep him all. I wouldn't want to be in Howie Roseman's shoes this year and next year with the amount of contracts that he's got to extend or trade away. Howie Roseman, by being great at his job, has backed himself into a corner where, what do? What is my take on DJ Moore? DJ Moore's a very good wide receiver. He is not an elite number one receiver. He's a good number one. Here's the way I'll say it. DJ Moore can be the Devontae Smith to A.J. Brown, but DJ Moore can't be A.J. Brown. Okay? I think you guys traded a lot to get DJ Moore, but not overpaid for him. But it also means A.J. Brown to get traded, you got to trade a lot more than what they gave up for DJ Moore. So I think DJ Moore will help the Bills, but doesn't help the fact that Josh Allen is the most unclutch postseason quarterback there is. Davis finally figured out that his health and fitness is business. And that's a great point. Your health and fitness as an athlete is part of being an athlete is your business, right? It's your job. Well, your health and fitness is your tools to the job. And you got to invest in it to get that generational wealth. It's like me when I owned a pizza shop. I bought shitty cheese or good cheese, right? You got to invest in your product or yourself to get paid. It is what it is. AJ isn't going anywhere. I agree. Not because we sugarcoat the situation. It'll break the Eagles' bank. Plus, nobody's given a first for him. Maybe not even a second. Well, I think teams would give a first. I really do. But teams don't want to give a first and a second, which is the only way Howie moves on from him, right? It is what it is. You don't trade elite players while they're still in their prime unless you get a haul. I think Jordan Davis' parents were big Michael Jordan fans. I don't know what to make of that. Is that a random thing you read or what? I don't know. Hard to get players in here. Democrats, whatever. Guys, please, not enough. If you haven't yet, it is free to do. Hit the like button. Share this out. Subscribe if you have not. Come on. We're up to 1,042 subscribers. I've set the bold goal of 2,000 subscribers by kickoff week 1. Will it happen? I don't know. But let's go. It's free to hit those buttons, guys. The Super Bowl window is closing faster than people thought. Excuse me. I don't know if that's necessarily true. It might not look like the 10-year window that it once did, the Super Bowl window, but why is it closing? We still got Jalen Hurts. We still got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. We still got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Quenya Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. We've got elite talent on both sides. The biggest question mark on the window, whether it's closing faster or not as fast as you say, is the health of the offensive line. The offensive line is the only thing that worries me about the window. And a big part of that is because we do have a lot of money invested in that offensive line. If the Eagles re-sign Jaelan Phillips, this will be Nolan Smith's final year. I agree with that 100%, Yas. 100%. You can't re-sign Jaelan Phillips to a $3 or $4, $20 million a year deal and then extend Nolan Smith as well. I do think they pick up Nolan Smith's fifth-year option at some point here this offseason, though. I think I'm fair on it. Like, DJ Moore's had great statistical seasons. He's also had some really shitty quarterbacks throwing to him. So DJ Moore might excel even more in the regular season with Josh Allen. But I just don't trust Josh Allen in the playoffs. if DJ Moore is worth a second, then AJ is worth a first. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can't believe it hasn't happened yet. Breaking news, Dolphins are releasing Tua. Again, it's a great offseason to be a quarterback that can be traded or signed. Because there are a lot of job openings in the NFL and a lot of underperforming, overrated quarterbacks that are going to get paid. Tua is going to get paid somewhere. Not as much as Kyler Murray or Malik Willis, but he's going to start somewhere next year. Tanner McKay, Carson Wentz. There are opportunities for quarterbacks this year. They will get offered a first-round pick. They have been offered a first-round pick. They're not going to accept just the first-round pick. I think you got to edit your comment here to saying they will not accept just a first-round pick. Dean and Smith are the tougher team decisions. Look, I don't think letting Nakobe Dean walk is a tough decision. Because, and let me preface this, Noobs, I'm a huge Nakobe Dean guy. I don't think letting Nakobe Dean walk is a hard decision. You gave Zach Bond the money. You drafted Jahad Campbell in the first round. You've got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Smile Mondon as backups. You don't need five linebackers for 2 spots. It's easy. Unless Nakobe Dean is desperate to stay here. Unless nobody wants Nakobe Dean and you bring him back on another super cheap deal. It's an easy walk away. I understand how valuable he is. I understand how good he is. That's why I love him so much. But it's an easy walk away. Nolan Smith, on the other hand, I think actually it's with Jalen Hunt's emergence over the last year, and if they retain Jaelan Phillips, it's easy to walk away from Nolan Smith. But if they don't get Jaelan Phillips, it's a little bit more difficult. They're releasing him after the league New Year starts. Yeah, no surprise. No surprise. Then AJ is going nowhere. Exactly. In today's NFL, windows are very wide open, 40 to very well and rarely rust open. Jock tax? Jock tax. Oh, yeah. Whatever. Guys, where are we at with the poll question? The Jordan Davis contract extension. Awesome. Well-deserved, 73%. Decent. Slight overpay, 20%. Awful. Overpay, 7%. 7% of you are crazy. Crazy. We got 19 people watching. Means there should be 19 likes. Make sure you guys are hitting that and subscribe and share. Yeah, I don't think it's hard to let Nakobe Dean walk. And I'm like you, K1. I love me some Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean, I knew when we drafted Nakobe Dean what we were getting. A huge boomer bust player in the sense of his health. I knew there was a chance he wasn't going to make it outside of his rookie contract because of his injury history. I said the same thing about Landon Dickerson when we drafted Landon Dickerson. Great player. Always hurt in college, too. But you got Jahad Campbell. You got Zach Bond. You can't, when you have 2 starting positions, you can't have 3 high-paid priced players. You can't. Always had the best pizza sauce. Thank you. Sorry. It shouldn't have changed. Letting Dean walk is not an easy decision because Campbell can't play. Well, that's the other thing, Keith. And I'm glad you're listening when I made that comment so you can comment this so I can counter you. We don't know if Campbell can't play. You think after 1 year that you fully evaluated the player. You say he can't do it. I say he hesitated because of lack of experience. Okay? I think Campbell, given time, can play. I think you can't judge a rookie after 1 year. I think some rookies take 2 to 3 years to fully develop, to fully find their groove. Okay? That's what I think. But when you invest whether he can play or not is beside the point that they just invested a first-round pick and more because they had to trade up a spot to get him, right? When you invest in a guy like Campbell in the draft, you don't give up on him after half a season, all right? You give him 2, 3, 4 years to figure it out, okay? And you have Zach Bond. Plus, there's some people that love Trot Jr. There's some people like Mondon a lot. So it's easy because of the plethora you have at that. When you've got so many positions on this team, when you have literally Sidney Brown and Drew McCube at safety. You have no tight ends on this team. You got to pay Q and Coop. You're weak at edge right now. When you have all these weaknesses on your team, it's very easy to let Dean walk when you've got the players you've got at linebacker. All right? That's part of it as well. If you don't kill the draft at least every other year, you're not having a dynasty. Dean's ability to play downfield or downhill and Campbell's lack of ability to do so is what makes the difficult decision. Right, and I get that. And is it a difficult – is Campbell's lack of ability to do what he does, is it because he's not talented like Keith says, or he's just a bad player like Keith says, or is it because he needed a year to adjust to the game? That wasn't long ago. A year ago after the draft, we were saying we got the steal of the draft. A week or two into the season last year, we were saying the NFL was going to regret letting Jahad Campbell drop to the Eagles. Now all of a sudden, Jahad Campbell can't play. What percentage of quarterbacks drafted in the first round pan out in the NFL? I don't know, but it's probably not as high as people think, mister. Probably not. Exactly, K1. And I was telling everybody after his rookie year, patience. He was a rookie, right? Patience, right? And look, and he's turned into a guy that some think is irreplaceable now, despite him not being able to stay on the field for a full season. The same thing applies from Nakobe Dean to Jahad Campbell in that sense. You don't know that Campbell can't play. I saw fear. He can't play. I did not see fear. I think it's no offense, Keith. You know I love you. I think it's a terrible take that you saw fear in him. Okay. I saw a guy that didn't understand his role 100%. Okay. He made plays on pure athleticism in the first few weeks. The league caught up to him, and he just didn't have time to adjust because Dean took over. Okay? I say maybe I'm wrong in 2 years, and I'll admit it if I am, but I do not give up on first-round talent after 1 year. Not even a whole year because he barely played the second half. Dean never played scared ever. But he didn't play well at first. Bills released Curtis Samuel. I thought that was announced a little while ago. Yeah, we got that a few minutes ago. No, I actually thought they did it already. All the talk about doing it, I thought it was already announced. So that, like, Tua being released by the Dolphins, Mitchie Poo, is the most unshocking news that'll happen today, probably. Exactly, Rick. Let's not forget Campbell has literally played one season in the NFL. You can't call him a bust. Everyone called Brandon Graham a bust. People were calling Nakobe Dean a bust. So many players have been labeled a bust that aren't a bust because you give them more than 1 year. The speed of the game of college to the pros is so massively different. Campbell is supremely talented. He just needs to play with a confidence in his eyes when going downhill. Put on an NFL 10, 15 pounds of muscle and work on his technique. And he's got a whole year off season to work on that, right? I'm not giving up on the kid yet. Most dead cap money ever, $100 million. Is that accurate? They're not doing it like post June 1st to break that up? That's sick. That's sick. Right? Disgusting. And people think Tua is better than Jalen Hurts right now. Kyle Schwarber's MVP mode. Dude, absolutely agree. Look, I was kind of busy doing things. I turned on the World Baseball Classic game. Was it on Friday or Saturday night? I turned it on, and 2 seconds after I turned it on, there goes a Schwarber bomb. I still don't think that home run the other night has landed the Kyle Schwarber hit. And something bothers me about the World Baseball Classic. Well, a couple things do. But, man, Bryce Harper plays with a different energy in the World Baseball Classic than he does. With a little different fire in his eye than he does in Philly. Am I the only one that sees that? Although, I will say, the bromance that is growing between Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper is something to keep an eye on. Phil, do you believe the World Baseball Classic will have hangover effects on the players? It didn't in the past. I worry about injuries. Bryce Harper, after the Schwarber home run, the next time Bryce Harper came up, he got plunked in the leg or the ankle. I know it hit his shin pad, but I worry about more of my players getting hurt. Ranger Swarzak, the last one, got hurt in the World Baseball Classic and struggled out of the gate. So I worry about injuries more than the hangover effect, Rick, on the World Baseball Classic. And I agree with Bryce Harper's comments that it's cool, it's fun to represent America, but it would be much more meaningful to represent your country in the Olympics. And we need to get baseball back in the Olympics, right? And it's crazy that you're getting flag football in the Olympics before you're getting baseball. So, yeah. What's up, Soldier Steve? How we doing? Can't wait 12 p.m. That's right. The alerts start dropping. You guys are chasing dreams. Look at the kids' film. I have. I've looked for the fear. I saw a guy that just didn't know his role yet. 100%. Playing linebacker is the most cerebral position in football outside of quarterback. It takes time to adjust. I agree. I do not give up on any first round or second round or third round player after 1 year. You just don't do it. It's the weirdest, worst thing to do, to give up on a player after 1 year. Has it officially been announced that it's back? Because the way Harper talked about it the other day, it felt like it was just still in the contemplation or discussion realm, the Olympics bringing back baseball. So from my understanding, it's not 100% set that baseball will be back. But I could be totally wrong on that, 100%. The fire in his eyes are like that because it's a short tournament you're playing for your country. Don't have to wait 162 games. No, I get it. It just looks like I want him to have a little bit more passion and fire all year long. And I know baseball's a long season, and that's what everyone tells me when I say the Phillies stink, that it's a long season, they'll be fine. I get that. And represent your country is an awesome thing to be able to do. Saw a super talented linebacker at Alabama. That's what I saw. I saw a super talented linebacker. You know, not long ago that we were talking about him being Micah Parsons. Not long ago that we were saying he might be the biggest mistake from the rest of the NFL in years, letting him fall to the Eagles, okay? He played, actually, go watch game 1, 2, 3 of the year. He looked damn good, okay? And then he kind of regressed a little bit. He kind of slowed down. He got caught flat-footed. He hesitated. Hesitation and fear are not the same thing. Hesitation is from a lack of experience and a lack of knowledge. Fear is fear. I saw hesitation, okay, not fear. I saw inexperience, not fear. There's a particular mindset you need to play downhill. You either have it or you don't. The issue with Campbell is if he doesn't develop it, it will unfortunately take away from what he does well. Well, according to Keith, he doesn't do anything well. I don't know if it's a mindset. I think it's more of an understanding. I think it's teaching your mind to process the game a little faster or letting the game slow down a little bit. Yeah, going downhill sounds like doing something fast, right? But you got to be able to read, react, and process information like that. And he didn't process it like that. He practiced it like that instead. And that half a second hesitation, it's not fear, it's not athleticism or talent, it's the game being too fast for him. And it can slow down for him. I am not moving on from him because of that yet. You don't have to give up on him, but you don't have to start him. You don't have to start him, right? You can have a competition with Trot Jr. and Smile Mondin and him. You can. But it makes walking away, you're not giving Nakobe Dean $40 million or $35 million with his injury history. You're not doing that when you've got all these other options already on the table, okay? You can't afford to with all the other money you've got to give out. That's what I saw, Rick. That was me. I agree. Cancel the All-Star game, make All-Star voting be for Olympic voting, add some double headers to the schedule, and it can be done. Bring baseball to the Olympics. I agree. I don't know about voting for the All-Star team. You want the best players representing. I don't think you got to vote for that. They came into the league as a hybrid, and when Jahad Campbell was brought into this league, he was said to be a hybrid. Then Vic Fangio said, no, we're going to focus on him in the middle because of the Nakobe Dean injury. So Micah Parsons started as a hybrid. Campbell was supposed to start as a hybrid, but the Nakobe Dean injury stopped them from being able to do that. You also got to understand, he is not an off-ball. He's not an edge. He's a hybrid. He's a guy that bounces all around, does a little this, does a little that. If anything, the worst part of Jahad Campbell's game is in theory, I don't think he fits this system the best. All right? Maybe he's not fit for a Vic Fangio system. Maybe. I could see that. I could see that for sure. Marshawn, we have discussed briefly the Sixers at times. It's a shame that we don't have a young guard that could start. A young, promising guard that can play and get buckets with so many injuries. The Sixers spiraling out of control. And now Maxey's hurt. Sixers suck ass, Marshawn. They might not miss the playoffs, but there's a chance they fall all the way down to the 10. They're at 8 now. They might fall down to 10 before they still got a good 7-game lead on the Bucks, and the Bucks are trying to lose right now. We got a good 7-game lead on them with like 18 games to play, 19 games to play. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs, but they ain't winning anything in the playoffs either. Exactly agree with you on this, Rick. I think if Dean doesn't come back from his injury last year, Campbell might have had a better season with a full year of starting under his belt. But unfortunately, Keith is right on this. It does go back to Bam. If he was able to process the game faster, it would have improved over the season. I disagree. I disagree on that. I think he can still improve, and I still think you give him the opportunity to do that versus paying Dean and the injury. Again, you want to give Dean $40 million a year with his injury history? You want to give Dean $40 million a year because maybe Todd Campbell can't do it? I don't think so. It says Tua will make $99 million dead cap money spread over 2 years. Gotcha. Remember when we had no linebacker depth? This is a good problem to have. Absolutely. I'm shocked that on a day where we're supposed to be talking about Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Jaelan Phillips, we're spending so much time breaking down Todd Campbell. That's why this is the People's Morning Show, Mitchie Poo. That's why everyone needs to like, share, subscribe. Because I go where the conversation takes me. I go where you people want to talk. That's right, I said you people. What's up, Drew? How you doing? Harris needs to sell the team. Harris needs to, yeah. I mean, that's the understatement of all understatements right there, Drew. I mean, seriously. Seriously. It's like yeah, agreed. Yes, the Sixers stink. Have they lost again? The Sixers lost on Saturday, the Hawks, pretty weakly. And Tyrese Maxey got hurt with like 3 seconds left in the game. They don't know how severe, but he's definitely going to miss the next 2 or 3 games, they said. But yes, they lost, and they lost him. They were down like 8 with 3 seconds left. He shouldn't even have been in the game at that point. Campbell was half-picked by Fangio. Was he really? That's interesting. Campbell is that guy you just going to line up anywhere. I'll keep Carter for this year and see if his value goes up. AJ doesn't get traded. Only way it happens if Pats add Gonzalez to the deal. There's a lot to process here. I agree with your first statement. Campbell is that guy. You just got to line him up anywhere. I agree. That's why he's more of a hybrid than that spot that he supposedly stinks at, right? I'll keep Carter for this year. I'm picking up his 5th-year option, letting him play out. I'm taking the Jordan Davis route with Jalen Carter. So I agree with you on that. I agree. AJ does not go anywhere unless the Pats add a lot more. The hypothetical rumor is that they offered a first and a third, and Howie said no. So I'll say if it's first, a third, and Gonzalez, or first and a second, Howie says yes. I don't think the Pats go that far, though. I think the Pats pivot very quickly today off of A.J. Brown. Don't rule out. If they're seriously contemplating it, right? If A.J. Brown is secretly requested out, if they're really contemplating trading A.J. Brown, it's not going to be till post-June 1st, and I'm going to throw some other teams in there. The Chargers' name has been linked and rumored a lot lately, okay? Getting Justin Herbert, that guy. The Broncos with Bo Nix could be a team. And the Jaguars could go out and get somebody for Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars have a very aggressive GM. It wouldn't shock me if they made an aggressive move post-June 1st there for A.J. Brown. Played middle linebacker. Our position coach taught us to fill gaps, which means you have to know everyone's gap responsibility in the trenches. Takes time to learn that, right? I hope that the Eagles aren't too focused on signing just Vic kind of guys because if Vic was contemplating retire. I agree. This is Steve. You're right. Right. Vic might not be here. Are you going to promote from within someone like Clint Hurt to take over for Vic that's going to run a similar system? Or are you going to go outside to like a Jim Schwartz or something else that runs a different system? You can't just build your team just for Vic Fangio this year. You just can't do that. You got to think big picture as well. And I like that comment from you. Yeah, it's the same shit yearly with the Sixers. The Sixers are a terrible basketball team. They're terribly run at the top by Josh Harris. Daryl Morey is the biggest dope in the league. Nick Nurse can't coach, obviously. Start the process over. I would be more excited for the Sixers to strip it down and start it over. Quantity of options is not quality. Trot isn't bad for his size, but outside of Bond and Dean, none of those guys are really anything special. Oh, I'm not high on Trot. I'm higher on Campbell than Trot, just so you know. There are people that say you can move on from Dean for Trot. People are saying we didn't need to draft the linebacker last year because of Trot. And I told them all on this show they were wrong. That Trot is a poor man's Dean. Okay? I think he's even smaller than Dean, isn't he? Or maybe about the same size. I agree. And let's not forget Zach Bond is 30 or pushing 30 this year. Zach Bond ain't no young spring chicken either. Right? So there's a lot there. And look, I'm not saying I want Dean gone. I'm saying I'm not paying Dean because of all these reasons, because I think the money he is going to command on the open market, you can't take that chance on giving him that with all the other players you have at linebacker, plus all the other money you've got to give out. You'll go give Dean a 3-year, $40 million deal, which Dallas very well might do at 12 o'clock today. You'll go give him a 3-year, $40 million deal. Now you're out on Phillips. You might have to move on from Carter. I don't know. Like, you're really putting yourself in a bind if you give Dean the money he is going to command, and you have options to replace him. Maybe they're better. Maybe they're not. Maybe they'll be better. Maybe they won't. But you got to take that calculated risk, and that's why it's an easy decision for me. Okay? Because to me, that calculated risk is easy. Dean is a difference maker when he plays. You're trying to sell me on placeholders when he plays. But do you understand what I'm saying, though? With the placeholders you've got, the money you've got to pay other people, the other holes on this team, it's an easy walk away, in my opinion, because of that. I mean, you people. It's very simple what I mean by you people. Harris owns the Devils, Commanders, and Sixers, and they all suck. Are you surprised? The dude's a nitwit, a clown, an idiot. We're finally over 20 viewers. Guys, keep hitting those buttons on the screen. Why would Harris sell? He does a little work, and these teams keep making him money. I mean, why would he sell? You're right. Exactly. As much as I pull for Campbell being from my actual town, I don't have the ability to dismiss the evidence in front of us. And I don't have the ability to dismiss the fact that sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years for a rookie to develop in who they are, to really come into their own. Okay? I could dismiss a couple bad plays because I've seen glimpses of awesomeness, okay? And I'm taking into account the whole team construction. Come off of what? The Sixers and Flyers combined do just enough to get us to the Phillies season, and the Phillies do just enough. I mean, this is a spot on. It's wash, rinse, repeat with the other teams not named the Eagles, Steve. Absolutely agree with you. Guys, come on. Hit the buttons on the screen. What's up, my man? How are we doing today? Yeah, we even got Twitch commenters here now. I love it. Flyers will make the playoffs before the Sixers. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Trot is a future head coach. He's that smart to be able to overcome his size in Fangio's system. Linebacker has a paramount importance. That's fine, and I agree. I agree with you. Like, I'm no Trot guy, okay? I'm not. I'm just literally looking at the grand scheme of things here with this team. I'm looking at the grand scheme of the money that is owed out there, the holes. You sign Trot, man, you're going to have a shitty tight end and safety core next year. You say, or Dean. If you sign Dean, who's playing edge for the Eagles outside of Smith and Hunt next year? You've got 4 guys that you've been working with. And you got an injury-prone guy that is a free agent. You kind of got to let him go. It's easier to sign Dallas Goedert, despite his injury history, than Nakobe Dean because you've got no tight ends, right? Literally no tight ends. You've got 4 linebackers. One is elite, all-pro. One is a first-round talent that didn't succeed massively to the level of Quinn Mitchell and Cooper DeJean the year before. Look at Jordan Davis. First-round pick, 13th overall. It took till last year, his what? 4th year, from the finally breakout. They could have moved on from Jordan Davis earlier. We talked last offseason about moving on from him. Man, could you imagine if we moved on from Jordan Davis because people didn't like him or thought he was out of shape or couldn't play or stay on the field? We moved on from Jordan Davis and he went and had the year he had for us elsewhere and then got paid elsewhere. Eagles would be crushing Howie for moving on from Jordan Davis. But we want to move on from Jahad Campbell or get somebody else to play the role that Jahad Campbell's supposed to because of one bad rookie year. I am on Twitch. We're live on Twitch right now. We've been live on Twitch for like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now. Got like 4 followers on Twitch now. I don't know how many it is. That is such a bold-faced lie, okay? Trotter is not a better linebacker than Campbell, Keith. I wish you studied the film because it is all there. What film of Trotter? Trotter's barely been on the field, and when he has been on the field, it's been in mop-up duty or in meaningless football games. That's the same. The film on Trotter is the same film that Tanner McKee has, okay? It's meaningless film, okay? Trotter might be an okay linebacker. He's a really good special teams player. But Trotter is not better than Campbell at this point. You can't say that for sure. I think that's terrible. Embiid's value is at an all-time low. They may have to ride this out. Not there for a little bit there this year, Drew. His value was at an all-time high. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with Joel Embiid. I disagree. Man, I'd rather have the Devils over the Flyers. History-wise, Flyers are horrible also. Well, yeah, the Flyers are horrible. I don't know if I want the Devils, though. Tanner McTrotter, exactly. Week 18 games against backups means he's a better player than Jahad Campbell. Okay? Maybe he is smarter. He's not more athletic. He doesn't have the size of Campbell. Okay? He doesn't have the speed of Campbell. All right? The fact that we're ready to give up on this guy, because I don't watch college film of Alabama, come on now. I watched those first few games of this year, and you go rewatch week 1, 2, 3, and you'll see Jahad Campbell, the athleticism and the talent is there. He just needs more time to develop. He just needs more time to teach himself to slow the game down, to process this a little faster. Trotter doesn't put out bad film because he doesn't put out any film because he can't get on the field. Tell me a game he started. If Trotter was so good, Trotter would have been starting over Campbell weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whenever it was Dean came back. Okay? And don't tell me it's because Campbell was a first-round pick, and that's why Trotter didn't play. Because at first they rotated Dean and Trotter. Dean's the better player right now than Trotter. Absolutely. He took the job away from Trotter. Dean took the job away from Campbell, right? Trot had zero chance of taking the job away from Campbell. You know why? Because he's not as good as Campbell. No, I can only do 3 places. If the Eagles got Parker to stay another year, he would replace Vic. Yeah, that's true. So now, in theory, Clint Hurt would be that guy. Obviously, there's the Jim Schwartz rumors will float around always. He's great at running plays down 7 yards downfield. Okay? We're not going to agree on this Jahad Campbell thing. There's no way. There's nothing you could say right now that would convince me right now. But, you know, the good thing is here is that I will admit I'm wrong next year, 2 years from now, whatever it may be. I know you guys won't admit that you're wrong now on him. Well, I knew you might. Campbell's a third down coverage back. Campbell is picked on the first round. What is up, Joe Castro? Philly, my man. Hope you are well. Join the conversation. We got a lot of, we're supposed to be talking Jordan Davis' contract, Joe. We're supposed to be talking about Jalen Carter, crazy rumors, free agency. And we're stuck on whether Jahad Campbell is good or is a bust or not, which is insane to me. Just so you know what we're talking about right now. If you ask 100 people, do they want Allen or Hurts to be their quarterback, what will all 100 say? What is this, the Family Feud? I pulled 100 NFL football fans. Top 2 answers on the board. Who would you rather be as your quarterback? Sorry, been watching a lot of Family Feud with Steve Harvey lately. I would say it's going, if they're just casual football fans, 70, 80%, maybe 90% would say Josh Allen. Sure. But real football fans, no. Jalen Hurts might if you ask real football fans, it might be closer to 50-50, like 60-40 Allen. But if it's casuals, it's like 90, 85, 90. What was K1's last comment? Tanner McTruther. What is up, Elephant? Better late than never, my man. It's not a bust, but the chances of him developing are very low. Very low. I think you saying very low is being very short-sighted, okay? It is. It's saying 21, 22-year-old guys can't. Same thing happened with Jordan Davis. You know, he can't develop. He can't stay on the field. He can't play more than 30 snaps, blah, blah, blah. There's so many instances in just the recent memory, okay, of players not being good their first year or not developing fully in their first year, and then given time, become great football players or solid football players even. But we're writing them off so damn early, and it drives me crazy. And I hate that I have to have this conversation because I want Nakobe Dean on this team still. I just know it's not worth it. I just know it's not smart. If you told me money wasn't a problem, if you take away the salary cap, sure, give Nakobe Dean a contract, keep him, keep developing Campbell as a hybrid player, as a third down pass rusher, whatever you want to do. But in this day and age, with this situation, you have to let Dean go, and you got to continue to develop Campbell, and I see potential there. Embiid is a dirty flop and choker, just horrible embarrassment. Look, you're not necessarily. Look, he's a guy. I will say this. I got crushed for saying Jalen Carter is not yet a generational talent, that he's developing into one. Joel Embiid is why I say the word generational talent gets thrown around too easily. He had generational potential, generational athleticism, but he wasn't generational because he got hurt too much. He's a choker a little bit. Is he horrible? No. He's not a dirty player. A little bit, maybe. He's not an embarrassment to the league. Joel Embiid is the biggest what if. Yeah, no, more than 69 would, Mitchie Poo. But don't change. How you know you need an afternoon show, Phil? You're watching Family Mother. Yeah. I was thinking of doing some afternoon shows this week. With free agency, maybe we could go 2 shows a day this week, maybe. What's up, AK? Good morning to you. Big Sil struggled his first year. Look at him. Yeah. Allen over Hurts 100%. Look. Yeah, anyway, I'm just going to move. Allen and Hurts are the same quarterback. Allen plays more hero ball. Allen is a hero ball guy, for sure, and that's why he makes a lot of mistakes. He doesn't trust the players. He doesn't trust the system. He doesn't trust his team. And that's why he makes mistakes. He needs way more time to marinate. He is years away. I would rather part with Nolan Smith in this case, even though he's a trench player. That's how far away Campbell is from being a rotational guy. We'll see. The only thing I can say to you and Keith now at this point is time will tell. Because let me tell you something. Whether I'm right or you're right, it doesn't matter. Campbell is going to be the guy because Howie sees it like me in the sense that it's easy to move on from Nakobe Dean at the price he's going to command in free agency. He really is. To me, the easiest decision Howie's got is unless Nakobe Dean wants a 1 or 2 year cheap deal with very little guaranteed, it's an easy walk away. Howie is going to give Campbell the chance. Plain and simple. So all that's going to happen now, the only thing we can do about this conversation is say time will tell. Whether I have to say I'm wrong or you guys say, well, whatever, whether you admit it or not. Time will tell. Because in 2026, Jaelan Campbell will be the starting linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles next to Zach Bond. There is zero doubt in my mind. If you stuck Allen on the Eagles, they would rule for years. I mean, they have ruled for years with have they not ruled with Jalen Hurts? I mean, they've been to 2 of the last 4 Super Bowls. They've won a Super Bowl. So I'm just curious. You're going to counter that with saying, they'd have won all 4 Super Bowls. My ass, they would have. I know the difference between a developing player and a guy who doesn't have it. Campbell doesn't have the ball instincts to be starting Mike linebacker. Look. Okay. I mean, unless you're an NFL coach or an NFL scout, you're no different than me. Just a guy that knows ball. Okay? A guy that watches football. And I look at things differently, okay? I do. And maybe I'm wrong. And trust me, I will have no problem telling you, Keith, you are right at the end of next season. No problem telling you that. But right now, I'm telling you that I think I'm right, and I think you're wrong. But I'm telling you that he's going to have the chance to prove me right or wrong. And there's no doubt about it in my mind. I mean, there's doubt whether I'm right or wrong. But there's no doubt that he's going to be given the chance to prove me right or wrong. And I think that's the bigger part there. If you asked me to choose between Allen and Hurts, I would choose Tom Brady. Yeah, exactly. Who wouldn't? All I can tell you is Howie has been seeing things really different in the past few years. So what's that mean? That you think he's going to move on? Or he's going to bring back Dean instead of somebody else? Because bringing back Dean at what he's going to command on the open market is going to mean some really harsh decisions elsewhere. I knew that would get you. Yeah. We only see these guys one day a week where I see them every day. I'm pretty sure they don't move on from Dean if they don't feel Campbell is ready. But that's exactly. Well, no. See, I think they move on from Dean regardless because the money he's going to command on the open market, the Eagles just can't do it. The Eagles just can't pay him $35, $40 million over a couple years. And I don't want to lose to Kobe Dean, AK. I've said it 20 times in this show already. I don't. But they have no choice but to see if he can play or not. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it's the NFL. The salary cap is a thing. And when you have the draft success that Howie had in 22, 23, 24, you've got no choice but to make these kind of tough calls. I invested high in one guy. I guess I've got to give him a chance. Guys, we're past 9 a.m. It's past the top of the hour. You're watching Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network. Please, live or on replay, like, share, subscribe, please. Let's go. We're at 10:42 to start the day. So let's keep hitting those buttons. It's free to do. We're talking a lot in Kobe Dean versus Jaelan Campbell. We're talking Jordan Davis' contract extension, Jalen Carter, trade rumors. We're talking Sixers, Tyrese Maxey hurt. We're talking Phillies, World Baseball Classic. 5 innings pitched for Andrew Painter in spring training. No runs, only 1 hit given up. We got lots of things on tap right now. Plus, as K1 said, we're talking Akshay Patel winning the API. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Let's keep moving forward here. Yeah, we're talking all the crazy breaking news. Absolutely. Let me refresh Twitter right now, see if anything else new is broken here. Terrence Steele got a contract restructure from the Cowboys to free up cap space. Lots of Tua all over my timeline because people think people care about Tua when people don't realize Tua just stinks. Is an overrated quarterback with a lot of injuries. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much all the news that is broken so far today. Go Akshay. That's right. What's up, Bucks guy? How we doing? The Eagles to do today? Nothing. So here's the thing, Bucks fan. And I said this a bunch of times last week. I can't wait till I go on Twitter later today at like 2 o'clock, 2 hours in legal tampering period. I'm going to see a bunch of Eagles fans with that little stick figure poking, do something emoji, right? The Eagles are going to be very minor, in the first week of free agency because they don't have money, okay? With the restructure of Jordan Davis, and the eventual cutting of Michael Carter, which will happen today, they're going to have about $30 million in cap space. They got a lot of extensions to give out. They got to figure out Jaelan Phillips, and that's it. They're not going to be big-time players in free agency. They might not even be big-time players in the second level of free agency. It's Howie Roseman's philosophy: draft, develop, re-sign. And that goes to Jahad Campbell. You drafted Jahad Campbell. Now we've got to develop him, and then we'll re-sign him. That's the free agency. That's what this offseason is about for the Eagles. I feel people are getting too attached to names and not thinking of the most important name, Eagles. Exactly. It's all about what's best for the team. I like that comment, AK. I do. Very few teams keep a player throughout their careers anymore. You can't with the dollar value of these contracts. Exactly. And contracts are growing at a rate. I mean, the salary cap is growing at a pretty enormous rate, every year. But contracts are growing even faster, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to be live at 12. Maybe if there's enough big news today, I'll go live at like 3 or 4 o'clock today. Thinking maybe 4 o'clock today, I'll go live with a NFL free agency day one show. I think that's a good idea. Maybe I'll go live at 4 for an hour or two. Why not, right? Is Buck going to lose Evans? Mike Evans is pretty much done in Tampa from all reports that I've read. I mean, there were reports that the Eagles were interested in him if they got a trade for A.J. Brown done. Jalen Hurts is much better than Josh Allen. Well, he's a winner. I'll say that. Evans test free agency. I agree. Yeah, he will. This is a lame free agent group, really. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Who's the biggest free agent name really available, K1? Is Trey Hendrickson the biggest name available? Really? Like, I mean, Malik Willis is going to command $35 million. That tells you all you need to know about free agency. Like I've always said it, Mike Evans is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL, for sure. Develop him all you want, just don't play us. Okay? We're going to see who get 12 months from today. We're going to be sitting here talking, well, probably like 10 months from today, after we hoist the Super Bowl trophy. We'll be talking who was right and who was wrong, Keith. I'm not saying he's going to be Super Bowl MVP next year, but I think he's going to have a bigger role than you think, a bigger impact than you think. Evans to the Giants, I could see that. I could see the Giants wanting a big-time veteran wide receiver. Yeah, all right. I can't guarantee I will be live at noon, at 4 today. I'm definitely not going to be live at noon unless something massively breaking happens. But I will go live maybe if there's a lot of deals at about 4 o'clock. All right? I usually am for moving on from players 90% of the time, keep the impact players, make Carter earn his raise, and prove he can tolerate. Look, I'm all for I'm not saying I'm not doing nothing with Jalen Carter this offseason. I am picking up his fifth-year option, right? But that's it. I don't think I extend him. I just don't. And if he wants an extension now or else, well, then he can sit out and be that guy. I don't worry about the Eagles. It's an expertly run organ. I mean, yeah. Let's just think about that. When you see what the Flyers are doing, the Sixers are doing, the Phillies are doing, why do we worry about keeping Dean or not? Just trust that whatever they decide is probably the right decision because it is an expertly run franchise by Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. It just is. I wanted Bills to get Evans bigly. Look, and last year, because he got hurt, was the first time in like over a decade he didn't have a 1,000-yard season. Mike Evans is a great wide receiver. He doesn't get great wide receiver credit, but he is a great wide receiver. And he's had some great quarterbacks and some shitty quarterbacks thrown to him throughout his career. Romeo Dobbs, yeah, I mean, I could see the Eagles going after him as their wide receiver 3, as his stretch the field kind of guy. I could see that. I think offensively speaking, K1, we're going to learn a lot about Sean Mannion's offensive philosophies based off of what happens in free agency. Kate Otten might be an Eagle. I've heard a lot of people say that. Seen a lot of deals, renegotiations, and this and that, and extensions going to tight ends. Last year and this year, kind of feel like Kate Otten might be. If we're going to sign Kate Otten, we might as well just sign Dallas Goedert. Okay? Kate Otten's going to get paid a lot. So is Dallas Goedert. You might as well just get paid Dallas Goedert. I'm really hoping that Dallas Goedert sticks around. But as we inch closer to 12 o'clock, it's less likely every minute that ticks by. I don't know what they do at tight end. I just think that the thing, paying Dallas Goedert $20 million in dead cap hit money and then paying $10 million a year for Cade Otton. So you're basically paying $30 million for Cade Otton, right? I don't know. I don't know. If they don't keep Dallas Goedert, then I find it hard to believe they do anything but give like a 1 year, $4 or $5 million deals to like a bunch of Kyle Granson types. Over under AJ Brown moved by 4. I'll set the number at under is minus 320 and over at like 20 to 1. He isn't getting moved by 4 o'clock today. Baker's okay. Baker's solid. Sabres finally get that cup. Wouldn't know. I get your arguments when you complain about AJ. It's hard to find a wide receiver any year, but a defensive tackle is a dime a dozen. You don't need a superstar DT to win a Super Bowl. It's Aaron Donald that Carter's expendable. Look, I'm not saying, like, I'm the one that suggested that we contemplate the Jalen Carter trade idea 3 weeks ago, okay? I mean, I won't get credit for it on social media. All the big-name reporters throwing these rumors around now will get the credit for it. But I talked about the Jalen Carter trade idea weeks ago, okay? Not because I want to, not because I don't think he's a great player, but because, you know, I suggested last week, what's a better option? Moro Jomo, Jordan Davis with Max Crosby on the edge, or Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis with Nolan Smith on the edge? What's the better trio there? And, look, I get it. You need great defensive tackles to stop the run, but you can't pay everybody. You got shoulder issues and maturity issues with Jalen Carter. You pick up his fifth-year option, you let him play it out this year. And then decide then. Would rather keep Goddard, but what? Look, I get it. I just feel it's hard to eat that $20 million dead cap money on Goddard and pay another tight end $10, $12 million, right? Because you're basically investing $30 million then in that player, in theory, in a weird way. Dallas Goedert to Tampa? Yeah, I have no idea. I have no feeling on where he's going to go. Otton is 26 and isn't hurt every damn year. I mean, Dallas Goedert wasn't hurt this year, but yeah, I get it. I get it. But again, whatever you pay Otton, tack $20 million onto it when you think about it. Last year, you were 100% sure Carter was getting $40 million a year. I still think Jalen Carter's getting $40 million a year. He needs to earn a contract. Carter's a generational player. Howie better find the money. Jalen Carter's still getting $40 million a year, whether it's from the Eagles or somebody else, okay? I wasn't positive that Jordan Davis was going to go the way he went last year to earn the money he did, okay? So that money, some of that $40 million wasn't getting eaten up by Jordan Davis, okay? Those shoulders weren't a problem going into last year, Keith. Those shoulders are a big question mark now, right? And Jalen Carter has the talent to be generational, but he hasn't been generational yet. He's really close to it, but he's got to prove he can stay mature and not be boneheaded. He's a walking 15-yard penalty. Doesn't mean I want Jalen Carter out of here. I do not want to trade Jalen Carter, okay? I'm saying big picture with Davis now getting paid, Carter needing to get paid, Q and Coop needing to get paid. Who's going to be the odd man out, okay? And you know what? Most likely, Howie will find the money, Keith. I'm not saying I want any of that. I want Jalen Carter here for the next 10 years. I'm saying pick up his fifth-year option and take the Jordan Davis route this year with him. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Bucks need Trey Hendrickson. A lot of teams need Trey Hendrickson. I hope we re-sign Carter because choosing Davis over him would be I get that. I get that. It could be a massive F-up. It really could. Elephant, it really could. But what if they see the medicals on those shoulders, and they're not sure if they're going to ever be 100% again, or if it's like a degenerative thing, like a bad knee that just keeps getting worse and worse? Now look at Joel Embiid. Now, Jalen Carter doesn't have the same history as Joel Embiid with injuries. But you overpay or you pay too soon, then you realize you're stuck. Are you being silly? You really think he couldn't get moved? Who? David Carter could get moved and he shouldn't get moved. For sure, bro. Was just saying it's not end all be all. I agree. You can't find Jalen Carters aren't a dime a dozen. But good enough players to fill in the middle with a great defense around them are. He is a huge reason we won that Super Bowl. Absolutely. And that Super Bowl run that he helped lead us to might be why his shoulders might not be able to hold up anymore. We don't know. That's why we just pick up the fifth-year option. We see if he can stay healthy all next year, and then we pay him. So much easier to hit on a good one like Davis in round 2. Well, Davis was a 13th pick overall, not a round 2. Jordan Davis is a great run defender, don't get me wrong, but his pressure stats are proven. Yeah, he does not get great pressure. He had career numbers from himself last year, but his pass rushing isn't elite. You also have to think his pass rushing numbers aren't elite because he's not on the field much in pass rushing situations. He was on it more than usual last year, but not enough to really develop that. If he stays healthy, I think Cooper DeJean becomes a safety for the back third of his career. That's possible. It's very possible. I mean, his rookie year in training camp, we talked about that a lot. Smith has a bad habit of peeking the defensive line and losing track of the ball carrier. Doesn't stop that. I will let him walk unless he wants rotational money. Well, yeah. I mean, Nolan Smith might be the first odd man out in all these scenarios, to be honest. Exactly. I don't want to lose Carter either, but everyone can't get paid. It's just easier to replace a defensive tackle these days, but money is running thin even each and every year. Coop and Mitch. I mean, you just look at the deal that Trent McDuffie got. The money the Rams just gave, the 100 guaranteed, 130 I think it was overall. God damn. Q is going to get 140 or more. Guarantee it. Coop probably going to get 130. You got 2 cornerbacks, and people want us to go get Christian Gonzalez and all these other elite cornerbacks. You got 2 cornerbacks that are going to cost you almost $300 million on their next contracts. Sometimes you got to have lesser talent in other positions and hope your elite talent carries you. Dallas Goedert's better than Cade Otton. Let's not bullshit. Yeah, I think I could agree to that for sure. He's not as young. He's a little bit more injury prone, but that's about it. I'm trying to, I know everybody's talking about Jaelan Phillips. They're trying to work out a deal before 12 with him. I'm trying to work out a deal with Dallas Goedert right now, too. Honestly, what are any of these D-lines without Jalen Carter eating at least 2 offensive line every play? I agree. It's a very fair point as well, Elephant. Those double teams are another reason why. He might be banged up, right? I want jackets. Jalen Carter and General Dean, give me players and not pipe dreams. Injuries are part of football. They gave Dickerson a deal, and he's a walking Red Cross. That's another thing you got to think about right there, Keith. Landon Dickerson. How much longer is he going to play? And then you're going to have to replace him. Okay? Look, again, I don't know how many times I can explain this to you. I do not want to lose to Kobe Dean, and I love how you call him General Dean. I remember doing the show, not in the first show of training camp of 2024 season, okay? And the report after the first day of practice. And the report the first day of practice was that Kobe Dean, not Zach Baun, because we didn't know what Zach Baun was going to be in 2024. That first day of practice, Kobe Dean had the green dot on his helmet. And I literally spent 30 minutes on this show just drooling with excitement over leader, General, Kobe Dean. But I understand big picture. You can't pay everybody. And I understand big picture. There are a lot of bodies that could develop. You got to make tough calls in football. And unfortunately, with the money Dean is going to command, he's the tough call you got to lose. Generational track at 24. Generational track, yes. And exactly. See, this is the thing. People think me saying he was on a generational track or he was going to be generational means I don't think he's good. No. I just mean you've got one great year doesn't mean you're a generational talent. It means you're becoming a generational player. You've got to sustain it for 2, 3, 4 years to be generational. Okay? I love your comment here, but this is what people don't understand about what I'm saying about Jalen Carter. Yeah, I probably would if I had to pay only 2 of the 3. I'm probably on board with you on that one, AK, as well. Probably. Great cornerbacks make your defensive line better too. Eventually, we need to have a discussion if paying a slot corner elite money is proper way to build the team. Yes, it is. I mean, we can have the conversation right now. I don't really care. Paying Cooper DeJean $130 million. I don't care if he's in the slot, the outside, safety, whatever. Cooper DeJean is a special player. Okay, he plays outside, inside. He can play anywhere on the field. He's gonna be where if we lose Reed Blankenship, which we might. We haven't talked to Reed Blankenship yet today, but you had only 2 defensive captains last year: Zach Bond and Reed Blankenship, and sometimes you have about 3 or 4 defensive captains. I think Cooper DeJean, maybe not this year, but at some point, we'll have a C on his shirt. More likely than Q. Cooper DeJean is a leader. He's somebody that locker room, loves. He's a great freaking player. I don't care if he's in the slot. And honestly, let's be honest, a lot of the elite wide receivers are starting to line up in the slot more often than not. People like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, they're lining up in the slot a lot more than they used to. So having an elite slot corner on elite pay is perfectly fine. How are you going to pay all these players you want to keep? Exactly. So you got to make tough calls. Somebody got to go. Man, we're all so excited about that upcoming UFL season. All of us, we just can't wait. Said nobody. I love how everyone thinks they know more about cap and roster management than Howie. That is true. That is true. You know, if Howie finds a way to keep them all, I wouldn't be shocked. Let me phrase this differently. Everyone says that, everyone gets upset that Howie just kicks the can down the lane or kicks the tire down the road with the cap hits and stuff. And then we get stuck in these situations with big dead cap numbers and all, right? Doesn't matter as long as we win. What if Howie finds a way to pay all these guys, right? And we win 2 more Super Bowls in the next 4 years. But then we go into a run, okay, where we're just a losing team for 5 years because Howie did everything he can to bring us 2 more championships, but the cost of 2 more championships was 5 bad years. Because you had to take 2 years of big dead cap hits, then 2 years to rebuild. Would that be okay to you, K1? Would you accept 5 years of no playoffs to get 2 more Super Bowl championships? Would you accept 2 years of New York Giants football to get 2 more Super Bowls? I don't know what the answer is to that. I'm just asking. Tyler Decker requested a release from the Lions. How he should jump on it. They were saying they were going to release him, and then they didn't, so I don't know what's going on there. How do you think we got to the point of parity we had this season? I don't know. Can't have scrubs in the starting lineup. 23 sucked because the starting lineup was chock full of scrubs at linebacker, safety, and corner. But you're acting like we have a bunch of scrubs in 2026. We've got 2 of arguably the best cornerbacks in football, okay? We got Zach Bond, who is an all-pro player at linebacker. Yeah, Drew McCuba, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know about, Jahad Campbell yet, right? But let's not act like this defense was not one of the best defenses in all of football last year. Okay? And most of the players are staying. The only defensive players we're in theory losing are Reed Blankenship and Nakobe Dean. That's it. No one's saying they know more than Howie. It's just mathematics, man. All these guys, look, I get it. I would spend on Q and Coop. There are fewer elite cornerbacks than there are good to great defensive tackles. I think so. In your opinion, who's most likely to be back? Blankenship, Dean, or Goddard? Most likely or most wanted, in my opinion. Look, I really hope they bring back Goddard because I just think that the world post-Dallas Goddard is going to be a struggle for the Eagles. I think Reed Blankenship is most likely back of those 3 because he's going to be the cheapest of the 3. Nobody's giving Reed Blankenship big money, okay? So you might as well keep Reed Blankenship. Plus, keeping Reed Blankenship keeps the exciting whites together. Reed Blankenship was a captain on this team last year. I think most likely, not most wanted, most important, most likely, it's Reed Blankenship. Shout out to Alex Bump for scoring in his first NHL game. Good for him. Look at all these teams who have elite defensive tackles. They get numbers, but they don't get playoffs or chips. Better re-sign Brandon Mann. We always forget he's a free agent. So is Charlie Hewlett. I won't care until the Stars come back to Philly. I still won't care. It's because of Howie. I know this franchise will be fine. Exactly. Blankenship is out. He might be. He might not be. I don't think it moves the needle one way or the other if he's back or not. Guys, if you have not, we've only got 18 likes. If you have not, we're coming to the final 5-10 minutes of the show. Hit that like button, subscribe button, please. Tim's on my Hulu. What? If it wasn't for Howie, they'd still be ringless. 1,000%. 1,000% accurate, okay? I agree for that. Look, I trust Howie. If Howie wants to move on from Nakobe Dean, so be it. If Howie Roseman wants to move on from Dallas Goedert, so be it. Howie Roseman has built up a reputation with his track record that I give him the utmost belief and confidence that he's got the best interest of this team this year and going forward in play. That he's making the best decisions he can, okay, with the situation presented. How do you think this O-line is going to fare? With Sean's scheme, we'll call from our agile linemen. Do you feel our guys we have right now can transition from power to agile? My biggest question or thought process isn't about can they transition, okay? It's not. I think some of these guys are pretty agile and athletic, okay? My biggest question is can they stay healthy? Is Landon Dickerson going to be able to stay healthy? Is he going to play more than 1 year? Can Cam Jurgens, with all the stem cell treatment, get Cam Jurgens back to the guy that got a big contract and not the 42nd ranked out of 42 centers in football last year? Does Lane Johnson have enough in the tank to play not even a full 17 games, 15 games, and be healthy for the playoffs? You can't even ask the question, in my opinion, about can they handle the transition to Sean Mannion's offense until you answer the question, can they stay healthy? Because if they can't stay healthy, it don't matter, right? Everything we talk about this offseason, defense, offense, special teams, coaching, none of it matters if the offensive line is as hurt as last year. None of it matters. Not to mention, Makuba is an undisciplined, undersized, walking missed tackle. They better keep Reed. Like, I know you're not fond of Howie's draft picks last year. I get it. Now, Makuba was kind of okay. Saw a couple glimpses as the season was going on. Then he got hurt. Then it stalled his development. I'm more confident in Jahad Campbell taking a step forward in 2026 than Drew Makuba, especially if you don't have Reed Blankenship there as kind of that safeties coach to help him along. You know, that veteran presence to help him along. If you go with Drew Makuba and a rookie or Marcus Epps, I have a little less confidence in Makuba developing. I also have confidence in Jahad Campbell developing because he's got Zach Bond playing next to him. So, yeah, Reed Blankenship, man. Trade, the Dolphins are sending Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets in exchange for 2026 7th-round pick from the Chargers. And how many times have I feel like Minkah Fitzpatrick's got this great rep. But, man, he's on bad teams, and he gets traded and moved around. Interesting trade, though. The Dolphins are stripping it completely down, Mitchie Poo. The Dolphins might not win 4 games next year. They're really stripping it down. I agree. I love Lane Johnson. He's the best tackle to ever do it for our team. But we are now in Jason Peters-Wooders. Yeah, exactly. Landon Dickerson, I really, truly believe, contemplated retirement. You see more and more linemen retiring early, 27, 30 years old. Cam Jurgens, the fact that he had to go to Columbia to get stem cell treatment tells me all I need to know about the fear on his back. Without those guys being healthy, playing a full year, the offense sucks, puts more pressure on the defense, and late in the year, the defense will collapse. Plain and simple. Everything settles or relies on this Eagles offensive line being healthy. And then we can have all the other offseason conversations. Dolphins going to go from tank for Tua to tank for Archie. That's probably accurate there. That's actually very, very, very honestly accurate. I kind of forgot about Archie because he did have a bad college year and he did go back for another season. Well, bad by what was expected of him, so to speak. Anyway, guys, we're past 9:30 here. This is Trending the AM. I think I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute or two, but I want to thank everybody. Make sure you hit the like and share and subscribe button. But I got to end on a somber term or time here. I want to put it out there. It is actually very funny. It is, but not what I'm about to say. 10 minutes down the road from me last night, there was an officer-involved shooting. Corporal Tim O'Connor of the Pennsylvania State Troopers was shot and killed in a routine traffic stop. And I just want to send and end the show somberly, thinking of his family, thinking of the police department, thinking of his friends, his kids, and everything like that. Hug your friends, hug your families. You never know, right? Routine traffic stop. You know, it just, yeah. So massive thoughts and prayers there. Literally 10 minutes down the road from my house, that shooting. And, you know, it's damn shame. It's sad as hell. When I woke up and I saw that news this morning, broke my heart. Then right before the show, I saw he basically just did a traffic stop. And the guy, it was a murder-suicide. Basically is what the early reports are. And it just breaks my heart. Why take someone else's life when you're taking your own? Why take your own? But still. By the way, I love daylight savings. It's my favorite thing of the year. We'll end up, I don't know. If they're tanking for Archie, no. So, yeah, I just want to end that. Thoughts and prayers and positive vibes sent to his family, his kids, his friends, anybody that knew him. Damn. Sucks. But as always, we'll be back maybe later today. Maybe I'll do a little afternoon show. But anyway, everybody have a great day. Go Birds. Bubbles up.